Hey, Chaz, welcome back to the Grit.
Man, back face to face.
It's been a long time.
Like silver spoons. Is that how it goes? Here we are, face to face, a couple of silver spoons. Ba-na-na-na. They are face to face, aren't they?
Yeah, they are. You know, one thing I remember about that show was there was somebody in the opening credits with the last name Scales.
Ooh, really?
Yeah.
I'm gonna have to go back in and look.
It was the black dude.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
What was his first name?
I don't know. I forget.
Any relation?
No relation at all. And I just thought I've never heard anybody else with the same name.
Why are the silver spoons face to face?
I have no idea.
Well, shouldn't they be like, I mean, the whole concept of spooning is front to back.
Right.
Or back to front, I suppose, as it were.
If the spoons are in the drawer face to face,
You're not utilizing
shuffle your drawer.
Your horrible use of space.
Totally.
Unless maybe spoons face to face are the ultimate sign of wealth. You can have such a big silverware drawer that all your silver spoons can look at each other face to face.
If it's actually made out of silver and you had it front to back, maybe it creates some sort of erosion.
And so you
have to put them face to face.
Face to face, couple silver spoons.
They used to make them out of silver.
Yeah.
Crazy.
I have some silver spoons.
Do you really?
You don't have any?
No.
You don't have any actual silverware in your drawer?
I don't know what mine's made out of, but I venture a guess it's not silver. Came from Crate and Barrel.
Your silver will oxidize. You'll be able to tell.
It
will look different over time.
Unless you keep it face to face.
And or polish. Remember when they used to advertise silver polish?
Yeah.
That dude dipping that plate in the stuff? Yeah.
Yeah. All of that feels wildly poisonous to me.
I think so.
Like, would you want to eat off of it after you do that?
Yes.
Okay.
It'd be worth the future cancers to dine so flamboyantly.
Good point.
Yeah.
Now, this segues perfectly into something I was going to bring up anyways.
Perfect.
Which is, I was in Tahoe last time we talked. You were in Jackson.
Did you get full powder days?
No, we got a really good day.
Yeah.
It snowed Friday like 6 inches or something like that, and then Saturday was epic and sunny. So it was like great conditions, great snow. But my question is, surfing and skiing or snowboarding are now something for the wealthy. Like when I grew up, I don't think surfing certainly wasn't, and even skiing. My family didn't have a lot of money, and I grew up skiing. And now it is just prohibitively expensive.
Prohibitively expensive. I think there's got to still be resorts out there, I feel, like, middle of Oregon or whatever. Man, my family's, I grew up straight up poor and family would go skiing once or twice a year. But it was at Hoodoo in the Cascades, and Hoodoo's motto was steep, deep, and cheap. So I wonder if Hoodoo is still steep, deep, and cheap. So I reckon if you really want to get it, you can go find your cheap skiing somewhere. Or you could split board or whatever.
We skied Southwest Utah, Bryan Head.
Yeah.
A couple of years ago, and it was $40 lift tickets on a Thursday, and beautiful conditions, no empty mountain.
Did they have actual wickets with the tickets, or was it like, remember the ones you used to put in your jacket?
They absolutely did.
Oh, see, that's so fantastic.
The little clothes hanger thing? I didn't know that was called a wicket.
A wicket.
Okay. I was always so diligent about getting that ticket to line up perfectly, because if it crumples at all, you're screwed. I mean, you could still use it. It just doesn't look good.
No, you look lame. From young youth, one of my first memories of school is kindergarten and hating cutting and pasting, like hating craft, which haunts me to this day. Like I could never get that stuff straight. I'll always have it so mashed over and then sticking to my pants, et cetera, et cetera.
You ever put stickers on a surfboard?
Yeah, always crooked, always wrong. 9 times out of 10 with a little bubble in there that will never go away until the surfboard gets hot enough where it goes away by itself.
What about a deck pad?
Yeah, always crooked, where I think it's just so perfect and it's misaligned. And I wonder how people do it. Do people just have instinct, or is there some kind of tool to get it lined up exactly?
There's no tool. Kelly did an Instagram like 2 years ago or something showing the application process where he peels the cardboard backing off, but leaves the plastic, like the cellophane.
Oh, yeah.
Suctioned wrap.
You put it all on at the same time.
So it's all still in place in the plastic. He peels the adhesive backing off the center bar, I think, and then places that down first. I forget exactly the method, but by leaving it in that plastic
you get a
backing,
guaranteed. Oh man, mine would always be just exactly wrong of 2 centimeters between center bar and outside bar on one side, 4 centimeters on the other side. When you look at it, it's like very clearly dumb.
And aside from trying to align it, an angle drops down and touches and sticks before you're ready to. So then that's going to create a bubble in the center. Whole thing's a nightmare.
Disaster.
The whole thing's a nightmare.
I watched, it's one of my, I suppose, hating arts and crafts so much, watching shapers on Instagram. I follow Pizel and Andrew Kidman and a bunch of them. Andrew Kidman's not even a shaper, is he?
Yes.
Yeah. And watching beautiful craft, where every line is straight, everything is just perfect. And I imagine if I was shaping a board, what a nightmare of hideousness it would be.
Mine's going to be asymmetrical for sure.
Yeah.
Guaranteed.
Yeah.
You've never shaped a surfboard?
No.
Do you have any interest?
Yeah, totally. I mean, I appreciate the art and craft so much. And I wonder, which I suppose this is the whole point of it, right? Everyone wonders, could I accidentally stumble into some magic shape? Could I make a mistake that was the perfect mistake?
Yeah, that happens often, actually.
I mean, I feel that probably some of the great surfboard innovations have come from mistakes.
The reverse V.
Totally.
Maurice Cole's reverse V for Tom Curran.
Straight up mistake. One of the greatest boards of all time.
Yeah. That's why I am for the art of shaping and hand shaping, is because I understand the importance of trying to replicate. If Chloe Andino has a board that he wins on, he wants it to be replicated, right? But it eliminates the potential for magic to happen.
Totally. Potential for magic is in the mistake.
Yeah.
That's why I'm still waiting to art and craft my way into a museum masterpiece.
Does your daughter do arts and crafts?
She does. She likes it.
But and do you have to help her though? I mean, I guess
no.
You wouldn't have to.
Heck no.
Yeah, for a kid, you just let him go.
I mean, yeah, no. If she asked, she would well know better than to ask me for help.
So in regard to surfing being elitist now, as skiing is, because by the way, even if you can get $40 lift tickets, skis are expensive.
Sure.
Boots are expensive. Winter clothing is expensive.
Here's what I think about what I like about the elitism of it, I'll tell you, is you can still find it. You can go to Play It Again Sports or whatever. You can go get used gear. You can figure out at some places still, I'm sure, how to clip tickets. Not that I am telling people to do that, but where there's a will, there's a way. The elitism of it makes the way harder, but it makes the person willing to walk that path better.
I agree with that.
So even in surfing, right? Yes, I mean, at this point, if you're a Val and thinking you're going to get into surfing, there's absolutely no way you're getting out. I mean, good luck finding a board to begin with, right? I mean, board shortages throughout the world. Have you been in you are in surf shops fairly regularly, right?
Sure.
Have you seen bare racks?
No.
Exactly. I hear talk, and I have no doubt that getting a custom or whatever takes forever. I am sure that certain models, it's hard to keep in stock. I'm sure that Channel Islands mid-lengths are tough to find,
sure.
Right? Maybe. But overall, I feel that surf shops are filled with boards, as filled as they ever were.
We should go look.
I mean, let's go on a board shop.
We're in a surf shop right now.
Is this an actual shop though?
So because of COVID, I think the hours are a little bit different, or maybe you make an appointment. We're in Album Surfboards, by the way.
So I'm looking at this wall though. How many of these are spoken for?
I think they're all spoken for.
That's what I'm saying. So it may be true. And maybe in the surf shop, every board in the rack is spoken for.
Could be.
Do you think so?
I have a feeling there are scenarios where racks are empty, but I think they just replace them with maybe lesser desired boards. There's going to be hot commodities, and there's going to be, surf techs that are still available or whatever.
So all's to say though, if you want to get into surfing right now, you go buy your board. Tough to buy a wetsuit probably. Maybe? No?
No, they're available.
Okay. So with the elitism in surfing though, what are you saying? The beach is still free.
Yeah, but
it's crowded.
Coast, you could buy a bungalow in Venice in the 70s for nothing and go. Now all coastal real estate is millions and millions of dollars, certainly in California. And even a mile or two back, it's still expensive. And so I grew up 30 minutes from the beach, and it was an effort to get there. And I have a feeling it's even more so now. That's kind of what I'm saying. And then things are just expensive, you know? So on Tahoe, we were on a chairlift and we saw a kid on the bunny run on a snowboard, and he was wearing jeans, and it was pretty cold. And snowboarding, of course, you're going to end up on your butt and on your knees all day long. So your jeans are going to get soaking wet. Right. And I was just thinking, gosh, what's he doing wearing jeans? Then I realized, well, he's on a bunny slope. This is his first time, and he doesn't have anything other than jeans. And I felt sad for him, but good for him. To your point, he's probably going to be better at snowboarding than anybody else within a month or two. Or
where there's
something.
A will, there's a way.
Of course.
When wife first went snowboarding, my wife is an ex-pro snowboarder. She wore Jordans as her Air Jordans as her first snowboard boot.
Like strapped Jordans into the binding?
Yeah, like somehow, I don't know how she did it, like duct taped them into the bindings. And that was her first, I'm sure with jeans too, it was her first snowboarding experience.
That's a good story.
Yeah.
It's a good like rags to riches story.
Sure.
I mean, not rags because she's wearing Jordans, but.
Yeah, I mean, yeah, but it's a good point. Yeah, I mean, she was proper poor. But also, yeah, you just figure it out, right? And I think you still can in snowboarding. Even as, sure, you know, you're not going to maybe go up, you know, squaw or whatever squaw is called now. What is it called now?
So squaw still exists, I think. It's just it's an hour away. I was at Heavenly.
Oh, you were at Heavenly. I forgot. Yeah. Squaw doesn't exist anymore.
Well, I'm pretty sure it does.
The mountain does, but they canceled.
They changed the name?
Squaw got canceled. Squaw got...
because of
the
Indian appropriation.
Yep.
That makes perfect sense.
Yep.
So the far end of this, the opposite end of this conversation is, or the extreme is, Google buying Tavarua.
Do you think it's true?
I don't know. Tell me the story. You broke the story.
Well, it's a hot rumor that was broken, I think 3 years ago. The first one was that Google's co-founders bought Namotu. That Namotu was on the block, Tavarua's sister island, right there, which was quickly debunked. I can't remember. I don't think it was angry. I think I just got a email from somebody who knew the founders or the owners of Namotu said, absolutely not, this is not true.
Okay.
So I quickly debunked it, but then this one popped up, and I know that, I think they're interested. I think there's very much interest in the Google founders of owning Fijian islands. I mean, they have super yachts and they're out there, I think, fairly regularly. Remember, was Dirk Ziff on one of their super yachts once?
I don't know.
I think one of their super yachts was parked during one of the Outer Knowns. Whatever happened to the Outer Known Pro? How did that thing just get straight up disappeared without anybody saying anything?
You talking about its sponsorship of Cloudbreak?
Like Kelly signed a 3-year, or Outer Known signed a 3-year deal, and big press release of the 3-year deal. Then it all goes away, and nobody says boo about it. I know. Anyhow, there was one of those contests. I think it's called Dragonfly or Spit Dragon or something, has some fancy name, but one of those super yachts was there, which gave heat to the rumor.
Gotcha.
I think they park their boats there and like it there, and it'd be perfectly sane if you have multi-billion dollars to buy Tavarua.
So that's the question: is how do you feel about that, kind of from a moral perspective of somebody owning a wave?
Yeah, I mean, ostensibly somebody owns that wave now. And also the way that Fiji's government opened it up, right? Where you can no longer exclusively, you don't have to be staying on Tavarua to surf Cloudbreak anymore.
Right.
You can boat in, which I've heard has caused major problems for the wave. Yeah. So all's to say, maybe it's good that some places are forbidden.
I know. I wonder that too, because initially it feels elitist, right?
Sure.
And I'm just like, screw those guys. Why should they be able to own this public resource? Then I realize, well, poor people aren't going there anyways.
Yep.
Like you have to be of a certain level of economic status to ever go to Tavarua, period. Sure. So now it goes from being, I don't know, the 3% of the world's population that can go there to just
0.001%.
Sure. So it changes slightly. But just like with localism, I almost feel like it exists for a reason, where yeah, it's ugly and there are going to be missteps and the wrong person's going to have their tire slashed or get punched out or whatever. But overall, on the whole, it's nice that that spot isn't overrun by valves, because being overrun by valves is kind of the worst scenario.
It is the worst case scenario, which I will still say, not as a apology for elitism, but again, where there's a will, there's a way. You could, if your life's goal is to go surf, cloud break, and you're poor, you could figure out how to be a chef, how to be a fisherman, how to be a boat driver, how to get there somehow. There's a way to get there, or just save up all your pennies and go and buy a rowboat and wherever and cruise on over to Cloudbreak. I mean, there's always a way, no matter how elite something is. If you want it enough, there's a way in.
I agree. And I almost feel like start devoting your energy towards becoming Sergey Brin or whoever it is, and maybe you don't end up owning Cloudbreak, but you can still
go buy your own wave.
Is there a better version than capitalism, I guess, is kind of what the question comes down to. Because without it, then there's kind of a mayhem, or there's always flaws with any sort of system that...
I mean, the Val apocalypse is truly the worst case scenario for any wave. Like rocking up on any wave, and there's a bunch of people who both don't know kind of rules, aren't good enough. Like, I mean, the problem with this whole COVID Val apocalypse thing is they all got good enough to be horrible in the way. Like, in my experience with the Val would go and couldn't devote as much time to surfing because there wasn't international lockdown where that's all they could do.
Yeah.
And so it kind of like, they were never quite good enough to be...
It's a good point.
To be that horrible, a nuisance, right? They were there, but no problem. Now they're good enough to paddle into just the wrong waves at just the wrong time. I read some story about I can't even remember. I probably shouldn't even bring this story up because my details on it are so misplaced. But there was somebody paddling out somewhere, back out, and the person paddling out almost got hit by a surfer, and the person paddling out was furious and thinking, all popping off at the mouth, just thinking and totally thinking that is a reasonable position to take, that paddling out, hey man, I was going this way. You saw me coming. You were supposed to get around me. Where absolutely not. And I feel that it's those kinds of things. Like when you're paddling out, it is only 100% your fault and only 100% your responsibility to get out of the way in any way you can, right? Somebody's cruising down the line. Yeah. Even if you think, okay, come on, they can do a big bottom turn around me. No, you do not assume anything. Get yourself out of the way.
In driving on the road, if there's a fender bender, if you get rear-ended, it's the other person's fault.
Yep.
Anytime you hit somebody from behind, it's the person behind's fault. So the same thing goes in surfing. It might mean you have to duck dive, you have to go into the impact zone. That's your problem.
Sure.
Yeah.
But it's these kinds of things, I think, that the Val can now paddle back out semi-efficiently in the worst way possible.
It's interesting because, for the previous COVID Val, couldn't even make the paddle out.
Sure.
So you didn't get washed up
on. No, you never even thought they were clogging lineups maybe, or on the fringes or trying to get out, but they were immaterial to the surfing experience. Now they are directly in the way of the surfing experience.
Yeah.
I mean, I can't even think of how many times over the COVID that I've spun to go on a wave and some guy on a wave storm is sitting so close to me that I almost spear him in the chest just by spinning around a paddle.
Dude, I surfed Rincon a month or two ago, and there were so many people in the lineup. First of all, you can't get a wave, right? And then I would eventually get one. And as I'm paddling in and looking down the line, I'm just going, where do I even go? And then I'd get up and riding, and I don't know where to do a turn. I'm actually focused on dodging people rather than doing a turn. So it nullifies the entire experience.
I wonder about this with Snapper, because Snapper is always this way, right? With super competent surfers. If everyone's competent, you look at Snapper, right? Snapper, when one of the cyclones is really churning through and it's just packed there.
Yeah.
Is it everybody so competent that they all know, okay, people bobbing in the shoulder are getting out of the way naturally just because they know how, and the guy surfing knows exactly the line of the wave, and everybody just knows what they're doing. Is that how that?
No, I think people get hurt all the time.
Real people are just always whacking into each other.
For sure. They have to be. I think, yeah, you're right. There's a high level of competence there, and a lot of people do get out of the way, but there's so many people in the lineup that people just get caught.
Every time I make this complaint, particularly on Instagram or Beach Grit, I'll get flack back from correct flack back of where are you surfing and why, basically. Like if there's this many valves clogging your spot, it's time to go to a more critical wave.
Yeah, but we're in Southern California. It is what it is. From Black's Beach to Lowers to the beach breaks that are anonymous, it's all crowded right at this point.
That is the problem.
Yeah. So the WSL is we got a couple of stories. I want to hear about Kelly's thoughts on a podcast.
Yeah, Kelly hates this medium.
I know.
Kelly hates you.
I didn't listen to who was he interviewed by?
It's apparently Australia's #1 sports podcast. A guy named Howard, I think it's Howie's Game or something, is the Howie Game, something like that, is the podcast.
And Kelly is anti-podcast.
Kelly, not really. I mean, Kelly says something like, I guess it took this guy claimed, again, Australia's #1 sports podcast. This guy's always wanted Kelly as a guest, took 4 years to get Kelly on. Kelly's excuse kind of why it took so long was I don't like to do a lot of these. By my contract, I don't have to. And so I like to be, what he was kind of getting at is I like to be thoughtful when I'm doing these, I think. But it also, he doesn't like to do them, clearly. He likes to do it if it's somebody famous, if it's Tim Ferriss or Joe Rogan, then he's in, but he doesn't ever want to do one unless it's somebody super famous.
Yeah, that could be it. I think he also admires those people.
Yeah, totally. He wants to sit down. I mean, for sure, the Joe Rogan one was such an embarrassment of Kelly trying to say things that Joe was interested in.
Well, Joe doesn't do research, firstly. Like, he can talk about things that he knows about very, very well, but he didn't really know surfing, and he probably only peripherally knows Kelly. So he wasn't really engaged in the conversation. And so, yeah, you're right. Kelly was trying to engage him, and it wasn't a great interview. But this Shane Dorian one was amazing because they could talk about hunting.
Yeah. But Kelly hates the medium.
I tried to get Kelly on one time. Did I tell you that?
What did he say? I hate podcasting? No.
I don't think he was too keen on me, first of all, because my association with you, firstly, and I've been critical just even without you. But it was at that Vissla Surf Pro event in Australia, 2019.
Okay.
So he was competing there at Manly. He was competing there for a week, and he had I think built into his appearance fee, which I think Surfing New South Wales paid him to come.
Yep.
He had a certain amount of media obligations.
Yep.
And I wasn't one of those. But through John Schmuka, rest in peace, and a couple other people, they're like, who do you want to interview while you're here? I was like, well, Kelly would be the only guy. They're like, we'll make it happen. We'll make it happen. We'll make it happen. And then each day I'd check in with them, and they're like, oh yeah, not today. He's got to do the morning news or whatever it is, So by the final day, Shmoo was like, well, let me just go introduce you. So I go over and I'm like, hey, Kelly, I've got all my recording equipment set up across the street. Can we make this happen? He's just like, nah, I don't think so. He's like, I honestly, I'm spread pretty thin. I don't think now's a good time. And I'm like, well, maybe sometime back in California. He's like, yeah, maybe. I was like, all right.
Shot down. Did you feel like burning shame, or did you have no thought that it would actually happen?
I wasn't too optimistic that it would happen, but I was fully prepared. Like, I had prepped throughout the week and even prior, like, for the possibility, because I want to be able to engage him in a conversation once we sit down. But he just didn't. He seemed like he was. He didn't say it, but it seemed like he didn't want anything to do with me. Yeah, that's kind of what it felt like.
Yeah, great.
So, I understand.
Yeah, sure.
It's all good.
I mean, you win some, you lose some.
Yeah, exactly. So speaking of the WSL. I have a theory that I would like to propose to you.
I'm excited.
They're going to run. So Andrew Stark, guy who runs WSL in Australia, was able to.
Soon to be the CEO of the whole thing.
You think?
For sure.
Okay. Well, we'll get into that too. What time do you got to leave?
Like 10, hard out.
So we'll start wrapping at 10. Okay, so Andrew Stark pulls together 4 events in Australia in this year, this second COVID year that we thought might be a wash.
4.
So we ran 1 event in pipe. John won it. And then Bells gets canceled. Snapper gets canceled.
Sunset canceled. Steamer canceled.
Margaret was still on the list. And so he rallied really quickly, tried to get an event at Lennox, didn't work out. Now he got Narrabeen, Newcastle,
Rottnest.
and Rottnest. So there's going to be 4 events in Australia. Potentially Tahiti could run. Potentially the wave pool could run.
I mean, wave pool for sure.
And then lowers is almost a guaranteed to run.
Though they don't have the permit yet.
But
apparently.
they don't have the permit. So not guaranteed to run. Europe is out.
Yeah.
So potentially there could be 5, 6, 7, 8 events. Okay. My theory is these events that are going to run in Australia, let's say they very well could run in marginal surf. So somebody like Connor O'Leary could win, and like low tier guys, like honestly, QS Warriors are almost better suited to win at Narrabeen and Newcastle, right? Kelly Slater, I'd be shocked if he mustered the gumption to go surf knee-high waves, right?
Will Kelly go?
Probably not. So that's the other thing. So kind of the point that I'm getting at is, what if we've created a scenario in 2021 where Jack Robinson gets bumped off tour? Like these guys who you really want on tour get bumped off, and it elevates all these lower tier QS surfers so that when we're looking at 2022, where we're back at G-Land and we're back at Sunset, all our favorite surfers are gone. And so this was a very short-sighted, while part of me thinks, yeah, run at all costs, like let's just run some events. There's a bigger picture at play here. And I'm worried that by Andrew Stark wanting to do his job well and Eric Logan wanting to do his job well and wanting to have deliverables in the moment, they're overlooking kind of the greater picture. And the greater picture should have always been running the best surfers in the best waves or nothing at all, right?
I mean, for sure. And it's funny, you bring up a great point, which I wouldn't have really, I would have thought, well, the year's a wash anyway. Whoever
Why not run?
And whoever wins, like whatever, like kids in school, right? They're not going to fail a kid in the COVID era.
Right.
Like the kid, everybody's going to pass, right? And so, sure, Jack Robinson's going to go on, but he can't. I mean, if
that's the problem,
like there's only a certain amount of slots in there, and if a QS guy actually crushes those events, like some wild card, whoever crushes, and then somebody's got to fall off. Who falls off?
And by the way, it's the top 5 surfers go into lowers. So you could see Connor O'Leary doing well in these Australian events and positioning himself in the top 5.
I really hope somebody is listening to this podcast, like a low J Bottle Thompson. I hope is listening and thinking, this is my time. I can actually get back on tour, and just goes and crushes. Or
somebody that's already there, like Deivid Silva.
Sure, but how great would it be if some nobody just like owns the year, and a bunch of them, they all get together and they think, hey, okay, QS Warriors, convene a meeting, sit down, work together to take down, knock off like what?
Kelly.
I mean, knock off Kelly for sure, but knock off like a good 15 of the best surfers in the world. Strategize together, like, okay, practice together. Okay, you've got Deivid Silva. You've got John Florence this heat. I'm going to be in that heat too. All I'm going to do is sacrifice myself so you can go through, et cetera, right? What if the QS Warrior gets together and just takes over the WSL?
They could, because John won pipe. He's looking at Margaret's going, I got that event on lock. I'll do well at Tahiti. But he shows up at Newcastle, not really focused that hard. But that's where Deivid Silva's looking to take him out at the knees.
See, and then you take him out, take John out at the knees in Nuke, and then combine up with somebody at Margaret, combine up with another QS Warrior, help each other out, bring each other up. Come on, QS Warriors, this is your time.
So this is why the WSL ought not to put a world title on the line this year, is because it's a very different year than every other year. So there should be an interim title. There should be some different scenario.
I mean, I don't know why they just don't call it what it is. They should say Pipeline is Pipeline. It's already kind of a standalone event, right? I mean, you're the pipe master, et cetera. I mean, for all intents and purposes, call the Australia for an Australian slam. And so whoever wins those 4 wins Australia. So so you have John as the pipe master. Whoever wins Australia will be the Aussie champ. And then whatever other event, nobody cares who wins the tank. Just call it what it is, because that's what it will be.
So let's say Kelly doesn't go to Oz.
Yeah. Do you think he will? He will for sure.
Well,
he will. Kelly will. I'll tell you who's keeping Kelly Slater going. Tom Brady. I think Kelly Slater thinks that he's in a mortal battle with Tom Brady for the greatest athlete of all time.
Because of the Giselle connection?
I don't know. I'm just thinking of what's inside Kelly's head. I bet that's what he's thinking. And he thought, Tom just won another one. I got to go win another one.
It's definitely inspirational, if nothing else.
I mean, inspirational, but I bet, knowing Kelly, you don't just get inspired at that level. You narcissistically need to go beat that. Where Kelly ending with 11 world titles, it's great. It's great. Everybody said 11 world titles, way too long. It's lost its magic. You got to go add a TB12.
If he's not trying to add
12,
if he's not adding the KS12, what's the point?
I mean, so you better go to Australia.
Yeah.
Like if he's just in his, Tom Brady didn't rest on his laurels. Tom Brady could have said, "Hey, I am the winningest quarterback of all time. Won more Super Bowls, been to more playoff games, played in whatever it is, some dumb amount of the Super Bowls over the last 20 years. What was it? He's played like half of them or something. I mean, it's something so silly.
Yeah.
Like that he had already stamped it.
Yeah.
He went and he won another Super Bowl. Where Kelly, when was the last time KS won 11?
5 years ago. Like it's been maybe more than that. Maybe
I think
7.
forever ago.
So, when he won that 11th, they moved the 2 L's and put the 11 there. A K could be replaced by a 12.
Yep.
Like it almost looks like it. The 1 and the 2 almost looks like the K legs.
12S.
It works perfectly, but then quit because you can't make your name look like a 13.
No, I mean, but that'd be pretty cool. Whatever Tom does, Kelly is going to have to do. Kelly is now looking like an old washed up hack. The fact that Tom went and won.
The other problem is not going out on top, right?
Yeah, going out on the dead bottom, Kelly. Not dead bottom. Going out in the middle.
He's currently 3rd in the world, by the way. So if Kelly doesn't go to Oz,
Kelly's got to go to Oz.
He's not going to win his own wave pool. We know he doesn't perform well at his own wave pool. So all that he has is a 3rd at pipe, and then he'd have Tahiti to try to get into lowers. That's not enough to do.
Do you think, though, Kelly is secretly right now, like small wave training, like thinking, I got this, Cocoa Beach style? He's out doing little whips, tail slides.
That could be why he's on the Aquila Ipa. Oh, that's mine. That's why he's on the Aquila Ipa flat earther. It's for small waves. So there's a number of other surfers. Without the world title, if the world title wasn't at play this year, I could see John not going to Australia. I could see a lot of people opting out of Australia, but the fact that there is a title involved makes me think they need to go defend it.
Well, and I feel like really if you're them, what else are you going to do? I mean, I guess you could go film. Like you could use the time to go film. I mean, that's what would be.
You could do, yeah.
That'd be a pretty smart play to drop an epic film right after the Australian leg. Use that month or whatever it is to just go stinking bag clips.
You can get a lot of work done.
For sure.
What's the big reveal for the Tokyo format?
Nothing.
Okay.
They have a non-elimination. I think first round is non-elimination. It's winner goes on to round 3, loser goes into round 2. Can somebody please explain this to me? The whole thing is that you don't want to see some guy, your favorite surfer, lose in a fluke, right?
Right.
If your favorite surfer stinking loses in round 1 to a nobody, then it serves them right and pack your bags and go home. Like this idea of non-elimination in surfing is so not just ridiculous, it's infuriating to me.
This is the format for Tokyo, so this is presuming that Tokyo actually happens.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
Got it.
The ISA format. So it's just long and boring. Like a whole round 1 that gets you nothing, a whole round 2 where you see the persons and peoples that have already lost go again. And then into round 3 where, okay, now we're probably going to get some of the, which it's always annoying to me when rarely do you want to see a heat replayed, right? Like, yes, John, Gabriel, yes, I don't know, whatever. There's a handful of
Rarely.
Of heats.
Very rare.
But so seeing the same round 1 heat again in round 3 is always just like, are you kidding me?
Yeah.
This is dumb. And even if the guy who won round 1 loses in round 3, that's dumb. Like, it's all dumb.
Well, I think the entire purpose of the reprecharge format is kind of designed for crappy surf. You know, it's like, it's presuming that there aren't going to be enough resources on tap for everybody to get a fair shake. So let's build in a plan B that allows them to fix it, which is a disaster.
It's exactly what you don't want.
Exactly.
A limited swell window is to use that window up for knowing that you've got to run like that. Nothing matters. The round 1, why run? I mean, it's
well, that's
don't get me started on repechage.
That's the point. Is like, don't rather than having to come up with a plan B, just fix plan A.
Yeah,
like put them in great waves where you got 30 minutes to get barreled, and if you that's it.
I mean,
so
I am not looking forward to that format, to seeing a tired, which again, I don't understand why the WSL is so attached to this format, this heat style thing. Again, can't talk about it enough, the natural selection. Like, you change the whole way it's done, right? Like, you change the way you look at it, and then off you go on some exciting new adventure. Why? Why do we have to have just heat after heat after heat after round after round after round to eliminate no surfers?
Right. Last week, excuse me. Oh my gosh. COVID. Last week, you were talking about being really conflicted about being a Val and snowboard, and you know, you're actually enjoying it. I interviewed, or I talked to, I don't know if you saw that incident in the South Bay at
Sure did.
On President's Day. There's 2 kids getting
hassled,
called the N-word by a local surfer.
Yeah.
I talked to those kids yesterday.
Oh, how good was
on
that?
The podcast?
Were they great?
So great. And full like Val stoke, and not only oblivious that, or not of the mindset that like, oh, we need to keep our cards close to our vest and play cool. They know that a lot of other Vals try to play it cool to fit in. They shirk it entirely.
So they were like, we just started. This is the funnest thing ever.
Yeah. And they're like, F it. We understand, like, you guys stare down people in the lineup and that's part of the culture. That's kind of stupid. Like, it's fun. This is super fun. And if we can't smile when we're having fun, then that's ridiculous. And I got to say, they rubbed off on me a little bit.
They won you over to Val life?
Well, look.
No, stay hard.
I'm always going to paddle down the beach and try to stay away from people because it's in my nature, whether I'm surfing or going to the grocery store. Like, I just keep my head down. But they rubbed off on me. Through that conversation, I was like, shoot, I think you guys are actually doing it right. I don't know how I became a cynical middle-aged male.
Is this show going to appear on the Inertia soon?
It might, actually.
Dang it. We've got to stay angry. We've got to stay grumpy, mean.
I know, but those kids. So
that's what we have. We have fun and we're angry about it.
Talking about Vals buying surfboards. These kids, I think they're like in their early 20s. Brick and Gage are their names.
Great names.
I know.
Yeah.
Brick, how good is Brick?
Yeah.
But he wasn't mean. Like, you would think Brick is just like this big, hefty truck driver. This kid was nice as you.
I don't know, though, but remember Brick from Anchorman also.
Oh, that's true. I forgot about that. So anyways, they've been surfing a few years, and they grew up like Southern California, locally, South LA. And they're like, yeah, we went to Kauai in November. He's like, and I bought my very first surfboard while we were there. I was like, really? What'd you buy? He bought a Josh Hall, which is like as fancy as you could possibly get. I was like, wait, what?
Yeah.
He's like, yeah, man, I was riding this. We rented boards while we were there. And he's like, at home, I have a soft top. But we went into Honolulu Surf Co. and
got a Josh Hall.
I saw it on the first day of my trip, and I just like fantasized about
it. What are the dims on it?
7 foot. I don't know the other dims, but it was a 7 foot long. And I was just like, dude, I don't even own a Josh Hall.
Yeah.
And I've never bought a board that expensive.
Are they wealthy, these kids?
I have no idea.
I mean, they must be. Going to Kauai and buying, I mean, how much does a Josh Hall go for? 12?
Yeah. Over $1,000.
Yeah.
Yeah, I don't know. Or maybe he just saved his money for years to go to Kauai. You know what I mean? Like, I have no idea.
I love these.
They both work. They're 20-something-year-olds that work.
Okay.
Early 20s.
Okay. Love the kids. What happened to them, obviously, was horrible and hideous and should be condemned in the strongest possible language. But I will disagree with their sunny dispositions. The whole part of being a surfer is just being a jerk. Not a jerk to others. I mean, that too. But just being taciturn, being inside, hating stuff.
So an older surfer tried to foist that upon them, and their response was positivity.
Oh,
they responded through positivity,
mean,
which is
great.
kind of amazing.
I can't say anything bad about them, but I would like to take them under my wing and teach them how to turn that joy sour.
What would your first step be?
You can't smile in the lineup. You can never smile in the lineup. Don't talk to anyone in the lineup ever. If somebody talks to you in the lineup, keep your head down. Pretend you don't hear them. If somebody hoots you coming out of a wave, sigh. Stuff like that.
Okay.
Yeah.
I thought it was going to start with day drinking,
I mean,
wearing sunglasses indoors. Stuff that'll get everybody around you to be like, what is wrong with you?
yeah, that too. I mean, that's step 2.
My favorite comment, it was like on one of our first episodes that we published of picture of, and somebody on Beach Grit was like, there's only 2 people who wear sunglasses indoors. Do you remember this?
Yeah. Blind people and assholes.
Yeah, there's only 2 types of people who wear sunglasses indoors.
Yeah.
Blind people and assholes.
It's so true. It's such a truism.
So a couple of things went down on the internet in the last 24 hours. Billy on WSL, 6-part series,
You watch?
6-part documentary on Billy Kemper.
You take it in part 1?
I watched part 1, yes.
What are they releasing them weekly?
I'm not sure.
Or is it all probably weekly, yeah?
I would imagine, yeah, one at a time.
Is this a Red Bull? It's just WSL.
WSL Studios, Outside TV is partnering with them.
Okay.
But WSL Studios produced it.
How did you find it?
It's good. It's really interesting. Like, it's got all the elements to be good, but I wasn't compelled by it.
Yeah.
And so it's really well produced, high production quality. Billy, I think, is a really compelling figure. The waves are insane. Like, all the surf footage is amazing. They've got all the angles, you know? And so I'm not sure if I wasn't compelled by it because it's part 1 and they haven't gotten to the drama yet, or if I already know the story. I'm not sure. But
I haven't watched it, but just from the posters and the trailers, it just seems like they put something in a box that already exists. Like, this movie exists multiple times over, from the poster, you know, even the font on the poster. Like, every part of this exists as a other thing. And so now to watch it just with the removable parts of, you know, Billy as person at the middle surfing as opposed to car racing, you know, whatever. Like, none of this, again, haven't seen it, but none of it seemed new at all.
Yeah.
Where you hope, the documentaries particularly that I've always loved are the ones that surprise you a bit. Either
Exactly.
the way
There's
it's
none of
shot,
that. Yeah.
the way they approach the content. It seems like such a straight down the middle Red Bull production that's not Red Bull, which seems like, okay, well, sweet. If I want to watch Red Bull stuff, I know what I get from Red Bull, and I like Red Bull for doing Red Bull. WSL doing Red Bull seems misguided to me.
Yeah. I'm definitely all in. I'm going to watch all of them and I'm looking forward to them. But I'm reserving kind of my opinion on how I'll rate the thing. Andy Irons and the Radicals is also coming out. Ashton Goggins production.
Directorial
I don't know.
backup?
Yeah,
I think
maybe.
I mean, I think he claims that he's directed some stuff.
Well, he's certainly been the one pushing this the one compiling this project and all but producing it. With the backing of Stab, obviously, and probably Billabong as well. So that's going to be on Stab Magazine. I'm looking forward to that. Do you have any opinions?
No. I haven't seen enough. I've seen a couple of the Instagram teasers for it, and it's basically just surfers talking about Andy, right? I mean, the new crop, like, are they riding Andy's boards and talking about him? Or?
No, nothing like that. It's a documentary about Andy Irons, but I guess they've compiled a bunch of footage that has never been seen before.
Okay.
So they'll be going through all that, and then of course interviewing everybody who know him.
Okay, so it's just another Andy
rehashing of the same.
Okay. Yeah, that sounds fine.
I want to see the footage.
Sure.
I want to see, every time I do see that trailer or any of the trailers with Andy surfing, I'm like, more of that, please.
Yeah.
Which reminds me of Harry Bryant somehow. Seeing Harry Bryant's octopus edit this week, like, he surfs radically. It's great to see radical surfing.
Yeah.
You know?
I suppose back to the idea of surprise, surf surprisingly.
Yeah.
Like what Harry does, what he did on some of those waves, like technically and whatever, you know, I don't know, is all fine and good, but just the surprise, the sheer surprise of when you're shocked when you see something, right?
Yes.
It's like, whoa, I've never seen that before.
Well, going all out
Yeah.
is radical.
Yeah.
Like, just full speed throttle and like rah, is, you know, it's very different than the way that I surf. I'm jealous of it. I watch that and I go, oh yeah, I should be trying harder.
Yeah.
Kind of a thing.
You can be now with WaveKey.
That's true. I can.
You're on the way. Harry Bryant.
Should we go to commercial break before we do barrel or not? Because I know you got to out.
Let's do it.
Okay.
Got to pick the kid up from school, dang it.
All right, Chaz, guess who is bringing our show to our listeners today?
I hope I'm still looking for my, you sent them, my Michael Jordan sneakers. So I hope they're bringing it also.
Michael Jordan?
My Michael J. Fox.
Michael J. Fox sneakers.
Yeah.
When you walked in today, I thought those were them. You got a knockoff version?
I've got this knockoff version forever ago. Yeah.
What's the difference? So those are Nikes. They're a white sneaker with a red swoosh.
They're not the Michael J. Fox in Back to the Future, whatever that is, the Blazer. I don't even know what that one is called, to be honest. I should know better. My dream sneaker.
You could have faked me out with those.
Yeah, no.
So eBay sneakers, ebay.com/sneakers is our sponsor today.
Great.
And we talked about them last week, and I was like, dude, they've got not only obviously new releases that you could find, anything that you're looking for elsewhere is on ebay.com/sneakers, but they also have old vintage stuff. They have dead stock. And then you're like, I need to find those Back to the Future ones. I found them.
Of course.
We got off air. I found them. They are on ebay.com/sneakers. What was the price?
A low price of $3,000, I think, for one. And then what was the other one? 800 maybe?
$650. So I think I didn't fully look into it. Correct me if I'm wrong. I think the $3,000 one was the original sneaker, and the $650 was like they reissued them.
That could be. Yeah.
So what do? Do you buy the reissue for a third of the price?
Yes. I mean, I would, because I want to wear them. I'm not collecting them.
Gotcha.
I'm wearing them.
Okay.
Yeah.
All right. Well, ebay.com/sneakers is where you go to buy any pair that you've been looking for. They have an authenticity guarantee with a team of independent professional authenticators performing a rigorous inspection of the sneakers before you purchase them. You can shop confidently knowing that your pair is the real deal if you were to buy those old fancy ones.
That's what I want. I want
also,
the real deal.
For the Jordy Smiths of the world who have a giant collection and they're looking to sell sneakers, eBay is eliminating seller fees on sneakers valued at $100 or more. So you can flip your collection without paying a commission.
And don't buy any sneaker that's worth less, or sell a sneaker worth less than $100.
What do you think of these now that you see them in real life?
I like them. I like them a lot. I like the fact that they're Puma, nice German company.
I didn't know that.
Yeah.
Oh, okay.
What do you think Puma was?
Never thought about it before.
German.
You know who wears Pumas?
Kawhi Leonard.
Kelly Slater.
Ooh, does he?
I've seen him wearing Pumas.
Was he wearing Pumas when he rejected you?
He was, actually. And you know why? Is because the same company that owns Outer Known owns Puma.
Sweet.
So that's the connection there.
Wow. Love it.
Yeah, it elevated Puma in my eyes.
I have a quick plug too.
Yeah.
If I could.
Hit it.
Wife, agent, and her agent friend, Suizo, they're doing a new, those things that are all popular now. The things
TikTok.
No, the thing you sign up for to learn stuff.
Masterclass,
exactly. So they are doing one called sportsmanagementmastermind.com. Sportsmanagementmastermind.com. You can go there, check it out. If you have a kid who is either shows proficiency, could be a pro athlete across any sport, from action to, if they're going to, getting a scholarship to go to college, all these rules are changed now. I don't know if you knew this. NCAA opened up so NCAA athletes can now make money, which makes for a radical minefield to walk through. So any parent or athlete who wants to know how to go pro, wants to know what to do, etc.
In any sporting field.
In any sporting field. So, yeah.
What's your wife's qualification to run this masterclass?
She is longtime agent, has been, basically one of the first action sports agent, has a stellar roster from, Paul Rodriguez, Travis Rice, Tora Bright, on down the line. And yeah, has done multi-million dollars of deals with Nike and all the big brands. Plus, daughter goes to University of Arizona on a soccer scholarship. So she's had to navigate that whole world now too. So
So what's the website?
It is, I'll tell you one more time. They're doing a free thing and then it goes to subscription. I think the free thing is soon. sportsmanagementmastermind.com.
Awesome.
There you go.
All right, Chaz, we're back from commercial.
So exciting, those commercials.
I know. I feel bad for all the people that pay us a subscription that don't get to hear the commercials.
Missing out.
Yeah, but here's the deal. They can go to the free feed and just listen over there too.
It's worth it.
We'll get double the downloads.
It's worth it.
Even better. Okay, so also we should shout out Album Surfboards.
Finest surf shop in all of San Clemente.
They came in early today to turn off the alarm for us.
Beautiful
So
people.
that you could pick your daughter up from school.
Beautiful boards.
All right, so let's do Barrel or Nah. There's a brand new documentary out on HBO. It's very controversial. Pharaoh versus Allen.
Ooh.
Or Allen versus Pharaoh.
Ooh.
So Barrel or Nah, Woody Allen.
I'm going to be controversial here. It's horrible, but Barrel. I don't love all Woody Allen films, but some of his films are so good. It's such a horrible thing to say. This is a cancelable offense.
This is really the conundrum that we live with in today's society. Can you still listen to Michael Jackson's music?
Can you?
I can.
He's a child molester.
I know.
Allegedly.
And so Woody Allen, it's like, I agree with you. I've grown up liking his films. And now I kind of have to look at him in a different light.
But the fact that he married, I think if you keep on watching his films, once he married his daughter, then you ostensibly are saying, yeah, I know. And I'm not condoning it, but right? I don't know how anybody is surprised by Woody Allen's, what is the thing is that he molested, which daughter? Not Sue Yi or whoever he's married to. That's
probably that qualifies as molestation.
Well, sure, but that's what's the
Ronan,
allegation?
Mia Farrow's daughter?
Mia Farrow's, which is
I don't know who it is.
Okay. Horrible.
I haven't watched the thing yet.
Horrible, and Woody Allen should go to jail if he did, right? I'm not saying that he shouldn't go to jail.
Yeah.
But I'm also saying that he makes good films.
I know, so that's the conundrum. Clearly there's a legal criminal thing that needs to be dealt with. He should go to jail if he's found guilty. But can you still enjoy the art of somebody who is a known sex offender? That's the question.
I think we do historically. I think the longer into the past it gets, the easier it is. The poetry of what? There's been so many.
Yeah.
The art of whatever. Anything in the past, I think it comes out that, this person was a rapist or was a, murderer or whatever. And you're still, but I think the stuff that happens in our time, it's harder. But I still think that art is art and life is life. And the twain don't often meet or don't necessarily need to meet.
I can enjoy the art if I ignore those things. So I think for all my life growing up, I heard that Woody Allen married Soon Yi, and I was like, there's probably a story there that justifies, I don't know, and I just ignored it.
Sure.
If I watch the documentary and I get all the facts, it's going to make it harder for me to appreciate the films that I used to love.
Let's see what has come before. There's what's a doc or what's somebody that's been totally trashed rightly? I guess Michael Jackson. I never liked
Harvey Weinstein.
Harvey Weinstein, but I still watch Pulp Fiction and stuff and love it.
Yeah.
It doesn't.
He was only tangentially related.
Sure,
to
he produced
Pulp Fiction.
it, but
so maybe Michael Jackson.
But I never liked Michael Jackson music. That's the problem for me. Is but I would never take a stand on it. Yeah. I mean, he's a clear creep who made, very popular music. I mean, I just think that you just can't, you can all day. You can boycott whatever you want, but
you probably should. Morally, you should boycott it, right? But when a Michael Jackson song has come on in recent years, I elect to turn off what I know about him as a child molester
and listen
and start dancing.
You don't think about Jesus juice in the bed,
which is probably something in me that's wrong.
I mean, that's probably
the fact that I can do that is probably a shortcoming in my.
I mean, not only it's probably societally wrong.
Yeah.
I mean, I suppose we should cancel our artists, but that's the problem is that so many of them are wacky. Like what makes great art also spins people out. And
but child molesting is different.
It's way different. It is way different.
So it's kind of like, yeah, you're right. You want them to be outlandish, but you can't be victimizing children. Then that's fully cancelable. But I still dance to the music.
You're still going to watch Woody Allen, chuckle. Midnight in Paris, fine film.
I know. All right. I'm very conflicted still. We might have to come back. So barrel or nah, Woody Allen?
I'm barrel.
I'm going nah.
Okay.
I got to go nah after having this discussion.
Okay.
All right. Barrel or nah? Gabriel Medina went vegan. Veganism.
I'm going, if veganism is your thing, that's okay. The fact that we know that about Gabriel Medina is the nah. Like advertising it, giant thumbs down. The stinking, whatever. Like there's so many vegan memes and jokes about vegans just nonstop talking about themselves being vegans.
Vegans and CrossFitters.
Yeah, exactly. So the fact that we know Gabriel Medina's a vegan, that's the problem.
Gotcha.
Gabriel Medina, fuck you. Keep your damn veganism to yourself.
I have a feeling, so yes, I agree with that, but also I have a feeling that veganism isn't great long-term. I don't know. I'm not a nutritionist, but from everything that I hear people talking about, it's like, oh, I had all these short-term benefits, but 5 years down the road, everybody goes back to eating.
I'm just saying, whatever you want, whatever floats your boat.
All right.
Culinary-wise,
just don't
food-wise,
tell me about it.
Don't tell me if you're like only eat meat either. Don't tell me about your diet. Full stop.
Okay.
Gabriel.
Yeah.
Pussy.
You know how you know someone's vegan?
How?
They tell you. That's how, that is what it is.
Yeah.
All right. I know you got to hustle, so I'm going to give you a quick and easy one.
Okay.
Barrel or nah, making a sex tape with your sibling. This is directed at the Coffee Sisters.
So nah. I don't know how anyone, I mean, it is just a straight no. And the fact that, at this point, not to throw unnecessary rocks, but
it's crazy.
The dad really made monsters out of his whole family. I talked to Mr. Coffee back in the day, hung out with Ellie Jean and the whole troop of them a long time ago. They're all young, and he was being weird then. Not weird as in anything inappropriate,
yeah.
But they were like in bikinis and stuff like that and were young, like proper young. And I was like, this is not, how is this going to go? And it went this way.
Well, I see the stuff that Ellie Jean is posting, and I'm like, every single time, whoever I'm with, I'm like, can you believe she's posting this on Instagram? And then I hear she made $1.5 million in her first month on OnlyFans.
Yeah. Ellie Jean made 1.5 mil?
Yeah.
That's a fact?
No, it's a rumor.
Okay.
But I'm thinking, okay, well, I guess you can everything has a price, right? And so you could put your sexuality or whatever on sale. I guess the number is 1.5 in a month. Now I understand what's motivating this really what looks crass. Beyond crass, right? So that I justified. Then she started posting, Holly and I are getting together for a shoot this afternoon, and they're both posing as if they're going to kiss one another. I'm like, this is your sister.
Yeah.
There's no price.
Yeah.
I don't care if it's $10 million. Like, I am blown away.
Yeah.
It is despicable.
But this is like, that's what people pay for, right? So that is the market. That is what the market, not only what the market will bear, that's what the market is craving.
The market's fueling this bad behavior, but I'm saying take your 1.5 and maintain a semblance of dignity.
Yeah.
Right?
No.
Like you don't need the 10. Take the 1.5 and do it monthly and maintain some shred of dignity.
No.
At this point where you're advertising whether or not she ever has sex with her sister, which I don't think she probably does, I would hope she does it. Whether or not that ever transpires is neither here nor there.
Well, I mean,
the fact that you're baiting people with that as the leverage is otherworldly to me.
It's a big no barrel. Look at you and I just on the moral high horse, except not on Woody. Me, I'm riding Woody to with his improprieties. But the coffee is apparently where I draw the line.
Yeah, thankfully. Yeah, and you got to go pick up your daughter from school right now. So shout out to eBay Sneakers, shout out to Album Surf, and Chaz, I think I'll see you next week.
I'm so excited. Next week, regular time for a full, we should go like marathon next week.
Okay,
yeah,
we'll do.
Sweet.
All right, until then.
Get barrel.
Thanks, David.